What's good, everybody? This your boy Jay Dragon, and this is my first video on my channel. Hopefully you guys will subscribe, like, comment, and share after I'm done with this video. Alright, today I just wanted to do a video talking about something that's really serious in today's society, as you will, and that is being pregnant at an early age, from like 13, 14, 15, from a young man's perspective, from our mindsets, what goes through our heads when we find out that, our young girlfriend or whatever is pregnant or whatnot like that. I first just want to say that, I have not ever as a teen ever got a girl that was pregnant of that age, but I had a lot of friends out the gate already at 15, 16 that got girls that were like 13, 14, 15 pregnant. And just listening to some of the conversations that I had with them back then, I was able to get an idea of what their mindsets were as they were going through it, and the mindsets that their girlfriends were going through, because I was friends with their girlfriends as well. And I have a family that has been pregnant, at an early age as well. I first want to say that, of course, girls and guys at that age do not think about getting pregnant when they have sex and things of that nature, because at a young age, sex is very, very new, and it's something that, as a young person, when they dabble in it, it's something that is a whole new feeling, and majority of the time it feels good. And when you get something that feels good, you tend to want to have that feeling as much as possible. So those things happen. I can't say that after talking to all of them, the general consensus was that the female was scared. Like, she was like so freaking scared. The parents were very upset. Mainly the fathers were very, very disappointed in their daughters. A lot of them asked, like, hey, how could this have happened? When did this happen? And from talking to my friends, a lot of them just basically said, hey, mom, dad wasn't home. She invited me over. I came over. They came over, and basically, boom, it happened. Or it was one of those things where they went over to a friend's house. The boyfriend just happened to appear over there around the neighborhood, and one thing after another, boom, it happened. So from the guy's perspective, they just, and for myself as well, it's one of those things like, I would have thought, oh snap, you know what I'm saying? It's like, this type of reality is like not supposed to happen right now. Like, I'm young, trying to, I'm still getting my feet wet in this thing called life, and still trying to understand my role in this thing called life. So, I could understand the mindsets of the guys on that perspective as well. Most of the guys that I talked to, they didn't have a mindset of, oh, that baby ain't mine, or, oh, I'm just not gonna mess with her anymore. They were basically like, hey, I've got to tell my mom what's going on, my mom and dad what's going on. I've got to find a way to break it to them. And some of the guys, don't really, I don't want to say that they just don't really care, what I'm saying, what our friends think, but it's one of those things where most men at that age are like, it is what it is kind of thing. I got this girl pregnant, didn't mean to, it was a mistake, and yeah, I have a baby on the way. You know what I'm saying? I can say that for the women, they have a hard time during that time period of just coming to the realization that they are pregnant, and that, hey, you know, I'm like 12, 13, 14, and I'm pregnant now, and I'm not supposed to be pregnant, and you know, I'm not even in high school, or I just got to high school, and I'm pregnant. Oh my God, what are people gonna say? And when they see me with a big belly, and rumors get to flying around in school, and that's also never good. So, you know, a woman has to deal with all of these different emotions and different feelings, because society cracks down on you, because when you get pregnant at that age, people tend to say things in school like, she was the slut around school, she's screwing this person, screwing that person, she's thotting all over the place, and that affects her mindset, knowing that she's pregnant and have to go through all these things. I can say that the girl's parents seem to come around a bit later on, because it's like, you're pregnant, it's like nothing we can do about it. How are we going to proceed forward? I've had some that got an abortion, and I've met some that did not get an abortion. For the ones that did get an abortion, I can't say that the girl was really happy about it. I can say that the girl was more, it was more like of a wake up call, you know, like, she was like, you know, I made a mistake, and she just really felt like this is not something that she could do again, especially at this early stage in her life. And she, even to this day, feels like it was a decision that she made. She has to live with it, and that, you know, when she does have kids in the future, that she can educate them on how to avoid certain pitfalls of having unprotected sex and things like that, because she did admit she did have unprotected sex. And you know, for the guy, he was very supportive. You know, it was a hard decision for both of them, and his family gave her family the money. She went, got the procedure done, and they were done dating. Like it was over like after that. I think that they both realized that, hey, we made a mistake, and us being around each other, basically, from what the guy was telling me, was like, they would have ended up making that same mistake again. And he basically said that she agreed as well, and they just parted ways, and they were still cool and friends after that. For the few that did make that decision to get an abortion, it was more like in the back of their head, they still would have thoughts like, hey, I wonder what the baby would have looked like, what the baby would have been, you know, at a certain age, and things like that. I do know that they said that the process of going in there was very intimidating at first, and that it did help a lot that they did have support of their family there, the mother and the father. And I only had one of the guys say that they went to theirs when they got the abortion. They was outside the waiting area, but it was a tough process for them to go through it, because the girl was like, it was people out there saying that, you know, she's not pleasing, you know, God. And you've heard some that say, you know, hey, that it's people that protest out there that basically say that, you know, that they just yell mean things to you because they know that this is something wrong religious wise, because it's not pleasing to God. For the ones that did decide to keep it, they had a lot of help from the families. They chipped in, they helped out, and it was tough because, you know, when you're 12, 13, 14, you have a baby, you don't really know what to do. You don't really have the capacity, the mindset to really think like an adult, because you're still learning, you know, just life, you know. You're still learning how to really just wash up really good and dress and clothe yourself really good. So and having a baby is a whole nother responsibility. So a lot of them said it was hard. They couldn't do a lot of the things that they wanted to do because the early responsibilities having to care for the child when the child needed something. Now I know it was tougher on the women because the women were like, even though they were young, they couldn't have the guy who they had the child by spend the night over, stay over, things like that. It was kind of like, y'all made this mistake one time, we're not gonna have y'all shacking up together to make a second, you know. So I could understand that. And for the guys, it was more like, look, whatever I can do to keep down the drama and keep the baby safe and the mother happy and what she needs, they were all in, willing to do it. Because when something like that happens, you would need both the father and the mother and the parents collectively together to come together and help out with the child. I can say that you know, a lot of them, you know, all of them finished school. That was a good thing. And just looking back on it, you know, everybody has their own thoughts on the situation, on how they would handle it if they got pregnant young and things like that. But when you really are going through it, that's the only way you will really know what you will really do. And I just want to say that I respect anyone who actually thinks their decision through. Whether you decide to get it or whether you decide not to get it, who am I to judge? So if you feel like you need to get it and there's no other way and it's very, very early, and I mean very, very early, like you could take a plan B or something like that, you know what I'm saying? And like a pill and just kind of bleed out, you know. And you really feel like it's not something that you're going to regret, then that's your decision to make. If you decide to keep it and you decide to take care of it and do what you need to do, then kudos to you. If you decide that you want to have the baby and give it up for adoption, that's kudos to you. But it's not a simple thing either way, because if you get an abortion, you can end up regretting it. If you have a child, some women go through postpartum so bad, and we've seen it on the news, that they kill the kid and they kill themselves. That's awful. Then you also have where people give their children up for adoption, and then when they give them their children up for adoption, they end up wanting that child later on down the line and try to get the child when they've already made a connection with the new family. And that's tiring in and out of court. You have some people that give their children up for adoption, and when they go to a new family, the family treats them like garbage. I have heard so many stories where kids have literally been mistreated, they've been abused, they've been raped, and everything, even starved, with the family that is supposed to be taking care of them and supposed to love them like they're their own blood. So, you know, I just really want for young women out there and young men to be careful and really think things through with your decision. But also know that you have a support system, that if you do come up pregnant 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and you're young and you just don't know what to do, you're afraid to tell your parents, talk to someone you trust who is level-headed, you know, and at some point, you know, sit down with your parents and let them know, you know, how you feel, and let them know what's happened. If you take a pregnancy test before you go to your doctor's appointment and find out that way. But, you know, I don't recommend hiding it, because if you hide it, you're going to become paranoid. You're not going to feel well afterwards. And I just think it's so important for the guys to be supportive of the person that they got pregnant. Be there. Don't belittle her, because you had a hand in it as well, getting her pregnant. So be there for her, and don't turn her away. Okay. That's all for this video. Like, comment, subscribe down below. Let me know how you feel. Let me know about your situation. If you're currently pregnant, know somebody who's pregnant, how they handle it, how you feel like you would handle it, things like that. This J Dragon, and I'm flying out this thing. Peace.